What is going on, guys? Gainz Gaming here, and today we are talking about our KVK and which commanders performed the best throughout this entire KVK. Now, I fell just short of my 10 billion kill point goal, but obviously we'll hit that pretty quickly into our next KVK. But I do this every single KVK. We figure out how many kills each commander and pairing got during KVK. So again, today we're going to be going through that. Again, I do this every single KVK, so make sure you guys subscribe for more content like this. Now, before we get started, I want to show you the different pairings I was using throughout the KVK. So this was my initial lineup with one change. I did start using Zhuge and William Wallace. Now, throughout KVK, I eventually switched this over to Zhuge and Alex. So when we go over the total amount of kills, Alex and William Wallace were kind of split 50-50 on what I was using. However, I do want to bring a huge caveat that I did do quite a bit of city popping with Zhuge and Alexander the Great toward the end of Kingsland because they were swarming around my city and they're there, so I'm going to hit them. And Zhuge Alex is the best city popping march in the game, so I was taking advantage of that. So I want to make sure I'm clear about that. Additionally, I did use my siege when I was able to. However, at the beginning of KVK, I did not have enough siege to run it, so I wasn't able to for quite a bit, and then eventually I was like, okay, screw this, I'm just going to train a ton of T5 siege, and now I'm able to run it. But at that point, it had already been over half the KVK. I did use them in the ruins for a little bit, so make sure you keep that in mind when we look at the overall stats. Now, I will quickly go over the gear I was running on these marches, just kind of show you guys what I had on each of them, so that way you can kind of figure out what it all looked like. So that is what I had on my Gaja. This is what I had on my Zhuge and Herman. Take a look at the armaments. I do have some stuff moved around for barb chaining, so I'll have to adjust that as we go. But this is my Hookah Bing. And then I believe my Nevsky's gear is on my double C. So this is what I was running on my Nevsky. And then for the armaments, this is what I had as armaments. I have my Hunter on there, which is pretty nice. This is the gear I was running on my Zhuge. And then if we take a look, I was running the arch formation. I am going to start looking into the new formation, the pincer formation, for more smite damage. I have not really looked into that a whole lot yet, just because this is already so good, but it's probably something I'm going to move into. And then finally looking at my Scipio and Ragnar gear, this is what I had on them. And then for my armaments, I had this on my Ragnar. So I had Ragnar primary with Scipio secondary. So that is what I had for my different marches. So I used 13 different commanders throughout this KVK. So we're going to start with number 13, and that is going to be Gonzalo. Now, again, like I said, I did not use siege as much as I wanted to, but Gonzalo finished with 3,327,888 total kills, coming in just below number 12, which was Gaja, which I'm sure you could have guessed, coming in at 3,348,102 total kills. Now, again, I hope I can use them more in the future. They are absolutely incredible in the ruins and the altar fights if you can use them correctly. So I'm super excited about that. Now, coming in at number 11, like I said before, we did kind of mix them up. So William Wallace came in at number 11 with 3,910,746 total kills. Now, this investment is kind of iffy for me right now just because of how much I still use Alexander the Great, because William Wallace is good and maybe he'll be better with the new pincer formation, but as of right now, like, he's just not as good as I want him to be. Now, coming into the top 10, we have Ragnar Prime starting us off with 4,456,440 total kills gained in this KVK. It's a lot of fours. Now, number 9, kind of shocking, but again, I've kind of talked about Nevsky somewhat falling off, just not being as good as he used to be. He came in at 4,475,537 total kills. Now, coming in at number 8, Scipio Prime. He actually performed better this time than he has with Guan Yu, which is good. But he came in at 4,486,514 total kills. Now, number 7, probably the biggest shocker in the entire list here, and that is Joan Prime. Joan Prime typically is number 2 every single time for me, and she's number 7. So I'm not really sure what happened here. Maybe it was because I paired her with Nevsky instead of Zhuge Bing, but well, I honestly have no clue. But she finished at 4,522,132 total kills. Now coming in at number 6, Zhuge Bing, finishing with 5,533,646 total kills, who is actually tied exactly with Arthur. We paired them together. He finished with, again, 5,533,646 total kills. So those two tie for 5th overall. Basically 5 and 6, but 5th overall where they rank, which again, they perform better than both Joan and Nevsky. So maybe it's Arthur, maybe it's Zhuge Bing, who really knows? I mean, Zhuge Bing and Joan Prime perform really, really well. So again, Arthur did phenomenal this KVK, 5.5 million kills with Zhuge Bing. And now we're in the top 5, and this is really shocking because literally this morning I posted a video about, are archers dead? Because I trade so bad with my archers. And now we look at the stats, and coming into number 4, we got Herman Prime, coming in at 5,819,464 total kills in this KVK. So maybe I just did a ton of healing with archers. I wish there was a breakdown of how many archers you healed, how many infantry, cavalry, because that would make this a lot easier to figure out. But he came in at number 4. And coming in at number 3 is going to be Zhuge. Zhuge finished with 6,019,791 total kills in this KVK. Honestly, kind of shocking to me. I'm really surprised that my calves aren't up there because obviously the calves are faster. But you know, with Zhuge and Herman, they're doing 5-target AoE, which is crazy, crazy good. And there were some trades I had with them that were phenomenal. So now we're coming into the top 2, which, like I prefaced before earlier in the video, Luce and Alex, I did do quite a bit of city popping with them. So I will say this does kind of skew the results. However, Luce has been my number 1 commander every single KVK since I've invested into him. So that would have stayed the same regardless. But Alexander the Great comes in at number 2 with 10,792,043 kills. He's sitting at 81.3 million kills, which is insane. That's honestly crazy how long he's lasted in open field. Again, we will see if I still run him with the pincer formation, or if William Wallace kind of gets a revival a little bit with this new formation with Luce. We'll have to check that out. Now, finally, of course, number 1 is Luce. Who else could it be? He finished with 14,712,770 total kills. Absolutely insane. So there you have it. Those are my top ranking commanders in this KVK by kills. Let me know down below what you think. Maybe I was wrong about archers, but at the same time, I feel like I did do a ton of healing with archers because every single time they were on the open field, they got completely wiped. Even if they had decent trades, they were basically filling up my hospital every single time. So comment down below what you guys think. What do you think is the best pair in the open field in 2025? For me personally, I think Luce has to be in that conversation regardless of what you think of him. He is the best commander in Rise of Kingdoms right now. We'll see if that lasts for the rest of the year, but comment what you guys think down below. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys next time.